Well, I don't know if I could top that intro, but hi, it's Rob on Carnival of Randomness.
Thank you, Andy.
We all sound like we have hangovers today. We don't. It's the time change, and the weather was bad yesterday.
That's it. It's the time change.
I feel like I had the Shamrock Shake with Bushmills in it. After
and I had a gig last night.
But we're very thrilled. We have Paul, our musical expert and punk rocker, with his
everybody.
Shirt.
Yeah.
And still, my second banana, he's still trying to get Billie Eilish to record one of his songs. It's Greg.
Yeah, hi, Billy. Come on, man. You got to help me out, girl.
And we're very thrilled. Our holiday shows, like the one we talked about, 2021, where I think we mentioned 2021 once.
Actually, 3 times.
Yeah, we mentioned 2021 once. We have all these others. But this is St. Patrick's Day weekend. Well, I'm wearing green, and our guest is wearing green, and she brought a harp, which is cool. But we're so pleased to have Mary Monroe with us. Hello.
Hey, how are you?
And I was just thinking, actually, the Minstrel Boy, the song, nobody would bring their harp into war because it's a symbol of Ireland if they got shot or something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't think about that.
It just popped in my head.
Does this count? I brought this.
And Greg will be playing. We're done. We're just going to play. But I know. How did you get into all this? I know music calls people. Did it call you to do it?
Oh, definitely. Well, I come from a family of musicians, the Monroes. Dennis and Mary Monroe were performing since before I was born. So I've practically been doing music since I was in the womb. But I came out singing, and they just put a little harp in my hand. So I started playing. No, I'm just kidding.
She's an angel, this one.
Well, my mom did say when I was born she felt this real spiritual energy about me, which I am a Reiki practitioner, so. But I do channel healing energy through my music when I play. But going back to how I started playing the harp.
When you came out, how did you get your little hands on it when you came out of the hoo-hoo? I mean, that's kind of tough. It does have a lot of strings.
Well, I just gripped onto it, didn't let it go.
I will tell you, we had Grace Browning on the show, the harpist from the RPO. I will tell you about harp things that all her trivia questions on the show, I missed every one of them.
Oh, yeah?
And I've been going to Michaela's shows for years. I missed every trivia. I knew her when she just started out. And I just remember that I just don't know harps. I couldn't even get the strings right after Grace told me. I think I said it was how many strings? Like 47 or something, or 27.
What was it that got
There's
you toward
all different size harps.
The harp, though. What gravitated? I just you see a drum set. Oh, I want to play drums.
Well, that's for certain types of people.
Well, I am asking her, Rob, what her unique individual motivation was.
Well, I already was playing guitar and recorders and singing with my parents when I was 14. We did a show on WXXI called Come Out Into the Garden, and it was a multimedia production. It was an award-winning show for national TV series for children. But, I was in high school getting up, going on TV shows and news, on the news all the time, and just huge concerts. And I'm used to this kind of stuff. We'd go and just record. It was so much fun. I lived in the studio, and, I was living the dream. It was so awesome, and very grateful those experiences. But anyway, so around that time, I'd just been listening to a lot of harp music, and it just really called to me. And so I just saved up money nannying one summer, and my dad found some harp on Craigslist. I got it for half price. And it's the one I still play today, the 36-string Celtic lever harp. I'm sorry, 34-string.
I see, you don't know the strings.
Well, the harp I have today is 26 strings, so, it gets confusing.
And you play it very well.
Stick to guitar, you actually know, with guitar, how many strings.
Greg has recorded on a couple of my songs.
Yeah, it's out there.
It's really
cool. Oh, my goodness.
She plays beautifully. She plays brilliantly, I gotta tell you.
Well, one of my biggest influences is actually Tori Amos, which she doesn't play the harp, but in my own songwriting, you can hear, especially my earlier songs, people still mention that sometimes I sound like Tori Amos.
I got into Tori Amos because of Neil Gaiman, because I was a big fan of Neil Gaiman, and then he actually, I think he bought or would rent Tori's house in London over the bridge. I used to be part of this fan letter back in the day before Neil was Neil, when he just wrote Sandman. There was a thing, he lived in Minnesota, there was a fanzine called Mageean Line. Just figured that out, it's Neil Gaiman. And he would come in, sign books, get all these things.
I didn't know he was connected to her.
And he just knows her, they're his friends.
They're friends.
And he actually did I think she did a book of like something like she, like if you listen to her songs, she'll put Neil Gaiman references like Morpheus and all these other things. Mm-hmm. So they're friends. Mm-hmm. That's why I got into Tori Amos. It was like, okay, then I'll go into Tori Amos, and then I just loved all like Little Earthquakes.
Yeah, she's
Hey
got like
Jupiter.
this ethereal rock vibe to her.
Perfect. And actually, her latest album was Between Oceans. I'm bad with things. It's I think her best album in a long time. Because for a while, I just got out of her stuff.
Oh yeah, I know. I haven't been like totally listening to everything like I used to recently.
She's playing here. I'm debating with the COVID, and so she's playing at COVID Hall.
Oh,
COVID Hall.
COVID Hall.
Kodak Hall. We've been in COVID Hall.
Might as well be COVID Hall.
We're live, and it's the time change. But yeah, she's playing here. I'm debating about going.
Oh my gosh,
it's
when?
March 20. Actually, I'll tell you.
I hope it's
March
not
28th. You
sold
could say it here.
I hope it's not sold out.
I think we should. Maybe we could do that. We should take all the people that have COVID, put them in there, and we'll call it COVID Hall.
All right.
Welcome.
It's called certain political rallies,
Then
but we don't want to go there.
Keep your damn COVID.
Well, I guess it would be all right since they all already have COVID, so I can't transfer it.
Oh my goodness. Okay.
We're really off on a tangent
how
now.
is but that's what we do on this show, you have to understand. So this is actually, I've been thinking about this lately in terms of all my musician friends, that most people who are connected to this, there's some kind of music in the background. The reason I got into all the underground scene, my brother was in New Math and Jet Blackberry, so I knew, so I was popular in grade school with all the REO Speedwagon, Journey fans, and everybody else.
Oh, yeah,
because
cool.
I liked the Ramones and Gun Club.
Right.
And I remember making like a Gun Club thing for one person, and all I heard was, Rob, this sucks. Why don't you listen to some good music? Here's like the...
Here's some Journey.
Yeah.
Right.
So I was on, but I would go to all the concerts anyways, because you have to remember, I'm almost 30. Shut up, it's my show, you. But somehow...
Well, I'm almost 21.
Yeah, see? You could be on still.
I tried looking you up on the internet to get your age, and there's a lawyer named Rob Schwartz, and there's a doctor named Rob Schwartz.
Really?
And so you can't find, you know, you look at people and they always say Rob Schwartz, 73 in your address. Couldn't even find you. It was like
I expect you looked up arrest records or something evil. But I've noticed that people have come into music. Most people, like Greg, did you come from a musical family?
No.
Well, you're a drummer,
really.
Okay.
Yeah, well, that explains it. Well, I certainly walked into that
Our
one.
two jokes with him are Billie Eilish and drummer.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I guess I stepped right into that one.
You walked right in.
No, I don't know. My mother used to sing a little around the house. And she used to play piano, I guess I found out later.
Oh,
So,
really?
I mean, maybe
Wow.
back there, it was there,
You
but
absorbed
she
it.
never pursued it. You know, the 50s thing, get married, all done. You know, no more interest except me.
Aw. That's sweet.
But no, I think I just got caught up in the Beatles thing like a lot of other kids did at that time.
How could you not, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's always some influence, but I do think, people who are creative create. It just calls, you can't get away. It's like not a horror movie, but in that way where you try to do something else, but it just keeps calling you back and calling you back.
Well, it is a horror movie in a way because if you don't do it, you feel like you're going to die. I had a year when I was
I know. Yeah. It's like working out.
in a marriage that didn't suit me, and I'm putting this very nicely. And
you went and got some good. I know some people have gotten some. When you're a songwriter, that can be good.
No, it's good. I mean, it's all good. I learned a lot about myself, and we're friends. We have 2 great kids, all that stuff. But anyways, there was one year where I actually stopped doing music altogether, and I really thought I was going to die. I was just I was not myself at all. I was selling cars. And it was because, his family didn't believe in it. My ex-husband thought I was selfish for doing music. And finally, I started believing that, too.
Right.
Well, maybe it is selfish and all this stuff. And so I stopped doing it, and I was so miserable. It was awful.
I can't tell you how many people I
lowest
broke
of
up
the low.
with the minute it seemed like, whoa, it's me or the band.
Oh, yeah.
Adios.
Yeah.
Bye.
Yeah, it's just...
And I'm not going for number one, I'm not big into extortion. And, I just don't, if you're going to do that, what else is going to happen down the road?
Right, but we all have gifts, and we got to use them, or we're going to die, spiritually.
I mean, there's living and there's existing, too, and that's the thing. It's part of why I do the show. I found, the outreach from this, a lot less people like it. Our guests, our co-hosts like it, people who've been on like it, people listen to it like it. And it's my way of promoting local music, because I have no talent for music.
Well, it's super fun. I love this.
So
I got to relate a quick story. I think I've said this before, but it kind of goes back to the way you were saying how you were enamored by when you were doing the TV and this and that.
Yeah.
Way back, I'll make it short. Way back when I was like in a Cub Scout thing, we got some kind of letter. I don't know. Somehow we got chosen to be on on the Mickey Mouse Club, the local thing here.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, cool.
So it's Channel 13. So we go in there, and the guy gives you directions. Okay, you walk through this little. It's like they had this cardboard castle thing. And you walk under the castle, and you go in there and you sit in little chairs like this, and I'm looking around the room, and I'm looking at the wires and the black. Everything's black, the walls, and all of a sudden it just hit me. And I'm like, what, 8, 10, maybe? I'm like, wait a minute. When you're watching this on TV, it looks real, but this isn't real. And all of a sudden, the whole show thing just kind of hit me right there. And I sort of understood the smoke and mirrors and the whole thing.
Right.
And I think that's what kind of got me into, like, bands and dressing it up good night and looking cool, whatever it was, you know?
Yeah, yeah.
So, I mean, that's weird. When you're a kid, man, that's the time to get those things because they just stay with you forever.
Oh, for sure.
But it was like, I couldn't have, it was weird. I put it together. It was the weirdest thing.
Yeah,
So
it was
anyway.
one of those aha moments.
Yeah.
Well, outside of your family, what were some of, like, growing up, your early musical influences?
Oh.
I'm sure you're like all of us is probably about 1,000.
Yeah.
Whatever
Well,
pops in your
I
head.
would lock myself in my room and listen to Slow Train Coming all the time. Like, that was my ultimate favorite album by Bob Dylan. And I love Joni Mitchell and Bob Marley. Like, those are my top people.
That was, I saved my
growing up.
paper route money to buy. My first box set I ever bought was Legend, which is Bob Marley set on cassette.
And oh, yeah, right? Oh,
Remember,
my
we
God.
got it on cassette, not on album even.
I didn't have cassette, but I did have CDs.
You can still get it if you go to the flea markets on cassette.
Oh, you probably do. But yeah, I was a big Bob Marley.
I'm back into vinyl now.
Yeah, I am
I
too.
love
Actually,
vinyl.
I just
God,
got like
it's
Katie
so
Morey put a
nostalgic.
new one out.
There's
Everybody
nothing
putting
like
them
it.
out too. So I got to get a new. But I remember like the reason was it was like Night Flight. There was this show on called Night Flight, late night, where they would put Ramones videos, Bob Marley videos, all this cool stuff on. So then I'd go down to and find it. So that's where I got more of the alternative stuff, which is really cool.
That is cool.
That's like a good mix too. That's why, like, I'm sure your sound and everything is. That's why you would play harp, because like, okay, I like this. What's all in common with them? They don't have harp in it. I'll play harp.
well, Mayor Brennan from Clonard, which is an Irish band, they were all my ultimate band, and I listen to them all the time. They're a huge influence too. So all those people I mentioned, really influenced, and of course my parents' music, big time.
Yeah.
And I remember my dad's studio where he taught and recorded stuff was right below my bedroom in the basement. So I would wake up sometimes and I'd hear him playing. And I remember he wrote the song Coming Into My Own, and I was just like, oh, it was so magical. It was such a cool experience to hear him writing underneath me and singing it. And I ran down there like, oh my God, this is so cool. And so we recorded it together.
And I like there was the encouragement to go follow your muse too, right?
Definitely.
It wasn't like some, like I know in pro wrestling a lot, people who have the kids, they go, don't get into it.
Right.
It's not like that.
Yeah.
They were like, oh, you sure you don't want to like maybe sell used cars instead?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Nice little beauty here. That's all you-
And I think that's the part, because I've heard stories from friends. The only reason they got through school is they hated it, but because of music education, because they found they loved playing. The teacher wasn't like that Whiplash guy.
Yeah.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And they loved it, and because of that, because they didn't want to get kicked out of band or whatever, they went to school. So a lot of people don't realize what this means to people when you find something like this, and it makes you live. It gives you a purpose and everything.
Yeah. Well, there's people whose parents are extremely supportive, like Josh Ketchum and Jack West, and it's very early in the morning, so I'm trying to think of everybody's names.
It is our, it's like I said, our time change
The
show.
time change show.
Brody
Yes.
Shank, and
I've seen Brody now, man.
Yeah.
I've seen him a lot. It's amazing.
Yeah.
I love seeing people that age that have much more talent than I'll ever have, which is cool.
But their parents are very, very supportive
Yeah.
and behind them all the way, financially and whatever else. And that's really helpful to them, and I love seeing that, because even though my parents we played music together, and that's what they did, and I wasn't like encouraged, surprisingly, to do it as a career. But my parents were going through a divorce, so all that stuff that we were doing that was magical, broke up along with the marriage, and then my grandmother would say, "Oh, become a nurse and marry a doctor." I'm like, "Oh,
Right.
wait, here we go. The old I can't be a doctor." Myself, but anyways, even that, they didn't encourage me because they struggled with music, making money with music.
Right.
But the amazing thing is once I believed in myself and I left the marriage that wasn't healthy for me, as soon as I started pursuing music full time, I remember I was 40 years old and it was like starting my life all over again. But I said, if I have to live in a cardboard box, I am doing nothing but music. And that's what I've done for the past 4 years.
And I think also, too, we have a
And I have so much work,
Yeah.
like I have to turn stuff down.
Yeah.
Between therapeutic music, teaching, performances at my Mary Monroe Productions company, and I have a show that I'm doing on YouTube, too. And, lots of cool stuff is happening. It's amazing.
Yeah,
I encourage everybody, just follow your dreams, man,
Yep.
and just do it, and it will happen. I'm telling you.
I think also, too, that we have, that's like, too, I think, like, we know everybody, it seems. People say, I know everybody. We have a very interlocking support of local music community. Mm-hmm. And I think that, and also talk about therapeutic music.
Yeah,
I'll always be in debt to Phil Marshall because my dad had dementia, and the last years were not good. He came over and played for him.
Yeah.
And you would hear them singing. I should have recorded those sessions.
Oh, yeah.
But just he loved it. The thing was, he couldn't remember my name. He got violent his last year. But when Phil would start those old songs, he'd start singing along with them. And it was just like really like, it was like onions almost got in my eyes a little bit hearing it.
Yeah, it activates a part of your brain that it has like a memory that it's there and it like activates it. So it's like, because I play with people in the memory care unit all the time of hospitals and nursing homes, and this happens all the time. I'll play a song that they remember, and all of a sudden there's a light in there. They could have like deer in headlights, you don't think they're even alive, and then all of a sudden you play this, and people couldn't believe this one guy. He was so gone. He was very close to passing, and Edelweiss was his song. So,
Wow.
and he came to and he sang the whole song with me, and it was like this light in his eyes, and that happens a lot, all the time.
Do you think that has anything to do with the theory of frequencies, certain frequencies affecting our bodies?
Oh yeah, hugely, yeah.
That's big now. I think if you put them on at night to sleep or whatever, certain frequency levels to help you not be anxious or whatever, stuff like that.
Yeah, the vibrations of music are extraordinarily healing, and I'm a Reiki practitioner too, and I use tuning forks and stuff, and that is amazing to see.
Well, this is like ironic from the shirt, good vibrations.
Yeah.
The good vibrations. Hey, it was the only green shirt I could grab on the way out.
Well, at least
the Christmas shirt and everything.
Color vision's still right on, so there you go.
But how was now, in terms of songwriting, did they just sort of, it's always interesting to talk to people who write songs, because did the inspiration just find you?
Yes, it's does.
Amazing. I think you either have it, I think you have it or you don't. I don't think you can teach it. It's just that people who just, if you're an artist, you're an artist.
Yeah, I think you have to be open to it, and like I said, if you're doing what you love, it just happens. And so I haven't even really been trying to write songs, and they've just been coming to me in dreams, so I can't get away from it. It's
right.
like,
Oh, wow.
like the last 4 songs have just come to me in dreams. Maybe not the entire thing, but like a chorus or the verse or something, and I'll wake up in the middle of the night saying, you got to get up, even if you're exhausted.
Yeah.
And I just have my little recorder, I'll sing into it, or if I've got enough
that's
energy,
great.
I'll play the
It's like my
whatever.
friend Adriana.
Yeah.
She does, she would, just put stuff on her phone. Have an idea, it would pop up. Mm-hmm. But I always use, the idea of, Greg Townsend, where he said, okay, there was a song, Sparks on the Highway. Where did it come up? His co-writer, Nick Cruz, I guess he saw some guy throw a cigarette out on the highway. So, Sparks on the Highway.
Yeah. There's so
ATM
many-
inside. Greg told me there was, he saw a sign, ATM inside. Mm-hmm. That's how, and I think it's just, if you're a creative person, it just comes to you, and they want to get out.
Yeah. And sometimes you just write a song because you're overly emotional about something, and you got to get, you got to get
working it out.
you got to work it out. So the best therapy for me is just to pick up an instrument and start playing, and music will
So
flow
the
out that
question
way.
I've asked everybody over the last couple of years, you're doing all this, it's going great. Then the COVID hits. And how did you, as a working musician, react to it?
Well, it made me really, I think with everybody, we all had to reevaluate our lives and think, what are we doing? And does it really matter? So like when it first hit, it made me think, geez, does music even matter? I had to really go deep with that. Does that, when everybody's sick and, the nurses and doctors are helping, I'm like, wow, those people are amazing. Does what I do even really matter? And then I realized, yes, it does.
Yeah, a lot.
I had one of the things that got me through were all the streaming concerts all my friends did.
Yeah, we did.
I literally had, you were on there, I literally had a calendar, just, it was like concert.
Oh, that was so great that everybody did that. It was so helpful.
But I remember when it hit too, because obviously we had like swine flu, all this. We never had something like this. Mm-hmm. So I remember when it's hitting, and I'm thinking, it'll be done by Easter or whatever.
Yeah.
I went to see a show. Last show I saw was like coming. I was hearing this stuff was coming like around New York City. Mm-hmm. I went to Albany, and that was a show I was talking about when I came back here in the morning. I'm debating. I'm like, okay, I'll go. But then I went to go take some books back to the library that Monday, and the library was closed. I'm going, okay, this might be something a little more than some of the stuff we've done in the past.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that really hurt me was just live music, because live music's always been such an important part of my life. And the thing that got us through was a friend of mine who's playing in Catch and Release on Thursday at Johnny's.
Yeah.
He started these sing-arounds in his backyard where musicians would get together with their instruments and singers would show up, and we would sit socially distanced outside and do a song rotation.
Oh,
and that got me through, because that was when there was like no live music at all, and it made me really realize how important live music was.
Mm-hmm.
But we've talked to other people about how they got through.
Yeah, that's like some people, like one of my friends, I've recorded like 3 albums. Other people, while I'm sitting there going, I could finally be creative. Do I really have to do the laundry?
I know, right?
I cleaned my entire basement. I redid everything. That's my practice space, So it's like I pulled all the stuff away from the walls and scrubbed everything down, threw out old rotten stuff, and it took me about a month.
I played Atari.
I tried to do something constructive.
I knew I was old because somebody sent me one of those classic Ataris. I got a stiff neck turning my head
really?
playing.
Oh, my God.
But you got to remember, like Paul and I, and Greg's a musician, you're a musician. We could have been out like almost every day going to different things. Because I always praise Rochester. This is the thing you all know, is that I had a friend move to Atlanta. You think Atlanta, great city. Well, what he said to me was, you don't believe it. I don't have half the diversity of music you have up there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And people are spoiled. I would tell people to come into Rochester, okay, what do you like?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that's playing here. But I always, one of the themes of the show,
so true.
One of the themes of the show here, though, is that, okay, go what you like. Go see what you don't like, because you might like it. Mm-hmm. That's what we try to push a lot.
Yeah.
But the classic was when I went to the Blood Countess Ballet, then I went to go see a punk band afterwards. I thought that summed everything up.
Mm-hmm. No, it's phenomenal. It's one of
I
the
love
reasons
ballet.
why,
It's really cool.
yeah, it's one of the reasons why I'm here, is because of the diversity of music and the close-knit connection with all the musicians, and people are very supportive. There's not a lot. I mean, there's a few people who are a little competitive, and we're not going to find that anywhere. But mostly, I find people are very supportive of each other. I don't find people real jealous and envious and
we all
trying
try
to take
help
somebody
each other.
down. I mean, there's a couple people like that.
Yeah.
Well, they are. They're on the show.
Only a few. Only a couple.
There's only a couple.
There's like hundreds.
But you know
of
what?
amazing
That's
people
the
who are very
beauty of
supportive.
it, because you go to other places, you go to Los Angeles or whatever, everybody's killing each other, stepping over each other.
Yeah.
At least here,
It's a very supportive community here.
there's a little bit of camaraderie. And hey, can you help me out on this? Sure, sure. And and I think we all just like each other.
Well, I think I don't believe in stepping on each other. It's like anybody wants to do even something like this. Dude, come in, watch this if you want to learn how not to do it.
Right.
Just do it. No, do whatever you want. Come on, you can do it. There's no reason to step over people. The more we all go up and all help each other, the better we are.
Mm-hmm. Oh, for sure. Well, I don't mean to change the subject, but going back
Please
to...
do. That's what the show is. The show is.
All right,
you don't understand.
She's catching on now.
Well, I wanted to go back to the COVID thing because it's important.
Oh, it is.
We're hitting on, we repainted the garage. We did all sorts of, stuff that needed to be done that we didn't get to do.
I said I was going to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
I read some comic books I haven't read in a while. The one thing I did, it's not an accomplishment, but I basically have a library at home full of books.
Yeah.
And I always go to the library, and so I never read what I have at home. So the one thing I did accomplish was I did read some of the books I own.
Yeah, that's great,
Wow, that's...
Yeah. And with us, Nate and I were so busy beforehand that most of our rehearsals were playing out. Like, we'd book a gig and literally, we'd rehearse on the spot, each other's songs and stuff. So we had time to play. We played together every day. We even were doing like some classical guitar duets, and we wrote music together, and we did the show 3 times a week. Oh, well, for a while it was every night. We did Nate and Mary Live from Home, and then we did it 3 nights a week. And I'm telling you, that's what really got us through. Like, if I was having a real bummed out day and feeling a little down, I had that to look forward to. And then when we were done with the show, like, I felt so elevated. You know, we felt so much better, you know. And going back to the power of
that's cool though.
Music. But so that happened, and then the World Music Quartet with Tommy Gravino, Stephen Bergia, Nate Coffey, and myself. The first album was recorded, and then once the concerts were allowed again, we had our first concert. But the other thing that happened was I learned to belly dance over the quarantine.
Wow.
Online lessons, you know.
Zoom lessons.
My girlfriend was doing that for a while. She did that for about 3 years with a group.
Yeah, and now I formed a troupe, the Glowing Goddesses. We perform with the Buddhahood and the Good Vibes and the Quartet, and I have a class that I teach, and so that's something else. I've been dancing since I was a child too, so that got in touch with that. I mean, it was really hard because I lost several friends to COVID, and some people just passed away of other things during that time. But I think that we all have come out like more caring people, but also stronger and more confident probably in who we are, because we all had time to really
I had to do a lot of self-reflection. I did a lot of self-reflection over the last few years. But can you imagine, like, if somebody, the old trope of the time traveler, they pop in from like 20 years ago, they see a bunch of people going out wearing masks and doing all this stuff.
Yeah, like, you never would have expected it. Totally seemed like a movie. Yeah, like I never didn't see it coming. I mean, I
last person on Earth movies,
Yeah, that's what it seemed like though, because I was going to say Cami Anahara was going to play at the Daily Refresher, and I'd been going down to those shows every week. My friend Hannah ran them, so it was on a Sunday. So it's like, okay, Cami's playing. I haven't heard anything. It was just before that Sunday, just before it closed, right? I always like to walk, so I parked down by Rock Gallery. It's like 28 days later out. There's like no one.
No one.
Oh, that
no
was
paper blowing down the street.
You expect like a zombie to come charging out at you. So I went down there, and it was
so weird.
I went down there, and it was closed. Like, okay, so I went down to Archive, and they were still open, but they had the hand sanitizer. But it was just strange. It was like, okay, where's my dog? I need get in before sundown. It's the last day on Earth.
Right. Yeah, it did feel like that. I remember some video on YouTube or something, and it had exactly that. There's like papers blown.
Well, the animals were coming around and laying out in the road because there was no more people around to scare them. In lots of places, they showed like
dinosaurs came back to the creationists. Well, they only went extinct if you ever see like the creationists museum with the cowboy and the dinosaur, they only went. Remember, the Earth is 3,000 years old. They only went extinct a while ago.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, forgot. How could I forget?
Yeah, see how ignoramuses we are. We were too busy with music to learn history.
I thought it was 6,000.
You have to read.
I have to read more, yeah.
Watch the Reverend Gene Scott if you could find him. He'll do you good.
The last person that told me I have to read more said that, there is no global warming and the ocean isn't rising.
Hey, that wasn't me.
No, it wasn't you. And the ocean isn't rising. The East Coast is sinking.
Oh, yes.
And I'm like, well...
Maybe.
That would be worse, wouldn't it?
Okay, we need to lighten the mood. Tell your Beatles joke that's real, the one with John Lennon, what he said about Ringo.
He's not even the best. Joke. He said he's the best drummer in the world. He goes, he's not even the best drummer in the Beatles.
That's funny.
Which was good. But now, do you pronounce it Celtic music or Celtic music?
Only if the basketball players.
Okay, I've heard like Celtic Storm, all those. I've always heard that from years ago that it was Celtic. So,
it is Celtic.
So when did you first get into all the Irish music and everything? See, we are talking about some St. Patrick's Day stuff.
Top of the morning.
Shula Roon is one of my favorite Irish pieces that Clenna does in Gaelic. So that's the only song I sing in Gaelic. But that's how I got into it. It was Clenna and the Dady brothers. Love the Dady brothers. Yeah,
I was the Pogues person first of all, and I still laugh at the story that if you ever want irony or just absurdity, Shane MacGowan got kicked out of the Pogues for drinking.
What? That is a little odd.
Just like, okay. It was like Keith going up to somebody going, I don't want this guy.
It's like being in an Irish band.
It's like Keith Richards' book. When he was a kid, there's actually a part in his book where he goes, there are all these older guys around. I don't want to hang around with them because they did drugs. Then he pauses in the book and goes, okay, I see how this sounds now.
That's funny.
But yeah, that's like the funniest thing with the Pogues. How do you get thrown out of an Irish band for drinking? Was he like drinking like club soda? And they...
Get out!
Coffee. No coffee.
I would be in it. But that's how I got into it. And actually seeing like another band we should mention from around there, we have all these good Irish bands. 1916, my friend Ryan Hurley and them, they play a lot there a lot. But then I remember like, I've seen the Dropkick Murphys, Flogging Molly, which are more like Irish punk than Irish folk.
Yeah. Oh, Chieftains are another one of my
favorites. Yeah, those are. I think they were the first ones. The Clancy Brothers.
Mm-hmm.
I actually have a Chieftains LP. I never knew what it was.
Oh, yeah?
It's an album. You spit it on a record.
Rob, today you're really rubbing me the wrong way. I didn't realize they were a Celtic band.
Yes.
Oh, cool. I have to go, now I got to go home and do it.
Yeah, I think Mick Jagger did Long Black Veil with them. I think they had like an album. They were all guest stars.
Right, yeah.
They're like really famous, I think, in terms of those types of bands.
Oh, they are very famous.
But for a while, I went into like weird obsessions during the COVID stuff where I would try to find every version of Whiskey in the Jar. So there were lots of like those bands I would look up. There's more folk versions and where the song actually came from about the Highwayman and how it changed because it's a folk song, which is really cool. But how did
evolution of songs?
We wish Nate very well. I know some things are going on. He'll be here sometime, I hope.
Yes.
But when did you first start playing and everything with him and doing all that?
Well, I first met him back at the Bug Jar when he was running the open mic there with the Earthlings.
Oh, wow, that's a long time ago.
Yeah, so that was like maybe 22 years ago or something. Wow. And
I was there the first night.
I was only 10 years old, But anyways.
You're getting the vibe of the show. You're getting the vibe of the show perfectly.
You had the fake ID.
Yeah, I did.
Can I come in?
No, but I would bring my bigger harp, the 34-string harp, there every week, every Sunday.
Yeah.
And I used to nanny at the time, so I'd have to get up at the crack of dawn, but I'd still go there every week and play. So that's when we first started playing together. It wasn't like a regular thing, but, he'd jam with me. And then, we were seeing each other back then casually, and then things just didn't work out for us, like, dating-wise back then. So, like, after I left the unhealthy marriage, I was at the Firehouse Saloon, and he was performing there. And this must have been the end of 2017 is when I reconnected with him. Anyway, so he just asked me on stage, come on up, come sing some harmony. And then we just became really good friends again, like we reunited our friendship. And then months later, like we started dating. So it was really the dating that happened first. Right. And then we weren't really planning on playing music together. I was like playing with Tommy Gravino and, doing my own solo stuff mainly then. And then one time he was in the basement just singing his song, This Old Town, and I just started harmonizing with him, and he just loved the harmony so much. And that's how it started. So I started just by, doing some harmony with him, calling me up occasionally at his gigs, or, just having me as a guest artist. And then I started playing the harp, and then you were jamming with us too, and then we recorded together. But then... so at the time before COVID, we were, doing a few gigs here and there together. Yeah. We started to become like Nate and Mary, and then during COVID is when we really became really tight, and then formed the quartet, and now we're like the Nate and Mary show. It's like everything. I even play the bass with him now in the Good Vibes.
That's right. Yeah.
I'm now his bass player, so we have so many different forms that we perform as.
I think things are best when they happen organically.
Yeah.
And also in Rochester, I think there's a rule somewhere when you're a musician. Somebody goes, come here. You have to play in like multiple things. You can't just do one. There's like
well, it's fun. I like that. I don't want to just play one style. Like I love the world music stuff we do.
Yeah,
I got into so much of that during
the rock stuff too.
During COVID. I was going through all like world music and everything. Which is just love. I'm not good at it, but that's how I go with music or anything else. I might not be a pro, but I like it.
Yeah. We do like a lot of Latin style music, Mid-Eastern, Irish kind of stuff, reggae. We love reggae, so we play a lot of reggae.
I know I'm not a pro, but I like it.
Yep. And I know reggae drumming, what I talked about, is really kind of hard.
It is, right?
It is.
The simplicity of it, I think, like really deceptive. But I know like really good rock drummers who can.
Well, I couldn't sit down and do it.
It's a hypnotic thing. You really got to get once you get that groove, man. It's locked in, and you got to stay there. The one drop and all. It takes some getting used to.
Yeah, not everybody will do it either.
Yeah.
Like we have specific drummers that like don't do it. So we have to make sure we have somebody that's really good at it.
No, and it's early in the morning, but like one of my top drummers, my brain's fried because of all things, is Scottlight's first drummer. He's like one of the best drummers. But most people try to Scottlight's first drummer.
Oh, yeah, I don't know him.
I'm just in the morning. It's like this is the show where it's not. We don't do research. Look it up yourself. But how did you first? Google. When was your first sort of public gigs and stuff? Like when did you first? Did you play with your family?
Yes.
How did it feel like going on? How did it feel?
Oh my God! Okay, so we were at the Memorial
when you were a complete
Art
unknown still.
my parents did crazy music. I mean, it was great. It was great.
Kept a beef artist.
Well, we did like Gregorian chants and stuff, which was really cool. I mean, crazy good in a good way. Like it was beautiful Gregorian chants. We did a lot of those.
That's awesome. I love
so we do this like 4-part harmony, and we started that out. I remember my first gig was at the Memorial Art Gallery with them. And we came in from 4 different areas, so it wasn't like I was like hiding behind them or whatever. Because when you started singing, you walked out and you're through the hallway,
so it's like
through
performance
your
art.
Yeah. So everybody would start singing, we'd walk out, and I remember trying to warm up beforehand, and I totally lost my voice because I was so nervous. I'm like, oh my God! And so thank God it worked, But I remember the beginning days of playing, like I'd have water and I'd be like, trying to drink my water because it would make you more nervous because your hand's shaking with the water, and everybody can see your hand shaking. Then you get more nervous. I'm like, okay, I'm not drinking water.
No, I still can't sing.
But I mean, I talk to all my students and stuff. It's like you just got to get through those first days, and it gets better and better. And you're always gonna. I mean, if you don't have butterflies in your stomach a little bit before a gig, that's not a good sign. You want to have a little bit.
No,
of
and you'll talk to like some supposedly like famous people who've toured for decades, super popular, and they say that I don't really want to go on stage till I get on stage. They're freaking out.
Yeah, well, Carly Simon always had stage fright.
Yeah,
she had major stage fright. Yeah. She still did it. You would never know that she
did. Or like Leonard Cohen, they couldn't get him out, but what would happen was when they finally got him out, what happened with him was, and he had problems, like when he was on Mount Baldy, I guess his accountant ripped him off, and he had to go tour and make more money. But what happened, he would never want to tour, but once he started, he would keep adding dates because he didn't want to stop.
That's awesome. Good thing they did that.
It's like, okay, yeah, good thing you got it.
Yeah, right? Good thing they made him do it.
But I mean, I can see it's tough because, like, I have friends in theater, and I was like, I can't, like, one of my friends said, okay, why not between sets, you're funny, go up and talk, and what am I going to say?
Everything and anything.
Yeah, be like this, okay, we're going to...
Just be yourself, right?
Yeah, that's right.
No, and that's the thing, like, with this, you just learn, like, there's just a flow to this, and you learn how to do it, and you get comfortable. I don't think we scare any of our guests up. They wonder about our sanity sometimes, stuff we go off on.
No, but some of the stuff we do might be like, what the hell? He did that? What's he talking about?
Well, I like how lighthearted this is and stuff, and laughter is so healing.
Well, that's the big thing with this is, like, okay, I don't want to talk, we'll let a guest talk about anything. I don't wants to talk about politics or miserable, just go outside.
Yeah,
it's miserable.
Oh, gosh.
I can find some anti-vax protesters down by the bridge if you want to at my house all the time.
Speaking of
I remember like seeing them when I was walking, and I'm like blowing the air this way and trying to go the other way. Yeah, Greg, go on.
No, sorry. I was saying, speaking of world events, I was talking about that session I got called to do yesterday. It was very strange. I got a call at like 10 o'clock in the morning by Jeff Riles. He says, hey, what are you doing? I have a drumming emergency. I said, okay.
There's such a thing.
Let me get my kit,
Drumming emergency.
So he said. And then So he says, I got this guy, I got these tracks. This guy he's writing a song for the Ukraine support thing. His name's William Paulinus or something like that. I wish I could remember his name. But it's something like that. I don't let his last name. It was Paulinus. So anyway, he had a bass track, a drum track, and a piano, and this really weird vocal that was like all over the place. No click track. So I got in there and I listened to the song a few times, made a little chart. And I, got it down in about 5 takes, and then, I said, thank you very much, got my money, and I left. But, I got a T-shirt, too, or a sweatshirt, and the words on it says, it's like taiju or something like that. It means believe in whatever language it is. So that was kind of fun. I mean, a same-day thing like that is very weird.
Yeah.
But it was fun to do.
You just created a Monty Python sketch. And we'll have like a thing, like a store gets robbed. Should we call the police? Let's call the emergency drummer.
That's right.
That's right.
Bicycle repairman.
That's great.
That's cool. I know, like RPO last night, they did a concert for Ukraine. It was like pay whatever they suggested, $20. Hopefully, some people went, considering how our fine weather was.
Oh gosh, it was dire.
Yeah, but that's really
great.
cool.
People are coming together and doing their best.
Yeah, we need stuff more to come together than to be apart these days and everything else. But I never asked like the best your all time, but like some of your songs. What are some of like you were like? I'm really glad I wrote that. That was kind of cool.
Yeah. Well,
just whatever pops in your head. I hate that what's your all time favorite? I can't do it. So.
Well, Brand New Day comes to my head as soon as you said that. That song I wrote after my father passed away, and I was really struggling. And that was one that came to me in a dream. And that really helped me get through big time.
What comes to you first, the lyrics or the music? Or is it right there together if you're dreaming about it?
It depends, but yeah, in the dream, both came, It was the chorus that came to me in this dream, for this song. But sometimes, like one time I was doing laundry and a melody just came to me. Like I wasn't even trying, just all of a sudden there's a melody.
Unbelievable. I can't even get my socks done in there. And you're like writing songs. I can't even do my laundry during COVID. You're like, why? Why was I cursed with totality? I have to do the bad jokes. So do you have any dreams you'd like to sell?
Good one.
Please give him purpose. He's shouting out for purpose.
I would love to be that guy like in the movie Yesterday where I'm in the world, nobody, the Beatles. So, I wrote that.
Oh, yeah,
right.
That was a really cool
movie. That's a great movie.
Some friends won't watch it. And I see, like, there are parts I really like. The part with John in it, if you've seen it, I thought that was kind of poignant and cool. And it was kind of, like, interesting. It was just different. I thought it was kind of light. Some friends will not watch it, though, just because I don't want to watch that movie.
Yeah.
I haven't watched Whiplash because I don't want to watch a movie like that. I don't want to see some kid get berated by a teacher. And that's
I saw it a long time ago. Stupid. I don't think I loved it.
It's the mean guy who, like, it would be like, to me, it would be somebody, okay, I suppose, if you really want to go deep on it, like he's just sort of frustrated. He sees your potential. He wants to bring it out. But what kind of fun is it even? It should be fun. It's called, Bruce Springsteen said it. It's called playing. I've never worked a day in my life. It's called playing.
Right.
What kind of fun would it be? Would you like to do this if you came and we poured like water on your head? Okay, we're going to haze you first.
Right.
We're going to be all serious. Now, this is the guy throwing cymbals at you and stuff. Number one,
Oh my God.
number one, the guy, he would have got fired so fast.
Yeah, I know, right?
And he would have got probably arrested.
Right.
But who wants to even do that? Is that kind of fun? I know, like, people who quit football because they had, like, back in the day, the Lombardi, like, coaches. It would be torture.
Yeah.
It should be enjoyable. It should be a positive thing where you're trying to bring out the positives, not like, he's slapping guys. Oh, is this quicker? There's this one scene where it's, okay, am I behind the tempo or front of the tempo? Is this behind? Slap him. Slap him again and throw a cymbal at him.
Yeah.
Well, I think it used to be more tolerable back in the day because people used to, like, the teachers would, like, whip the students with
right.
stick or something,
So
that was like
school survivor.
Yeah,
I am too.
Yeah, me too.
I always heard that they had the paddle with the principal, that they called you in the office, she had the paddle.
Yeah,
Oh my
I know.
God, I can't believe that even happened. But times are a changing. Like a piano student came to me because she was like with some strict Russian teacher or something, and like I think she made her cry or whatever. And at the time, I was working at Castella Music, and Fred was like, "Well, I know you're fun, so I'll send her to you." And you know.
And you have to have a lot of patience with that, too, and everything.
Yeah, but I just try to make everything fun. You know, sometimes I feel pressure, like the parents want them to be at a certain level, a certain time. And at first, when I started teaching, I felt like that. But I'm like, no, I'm going to work with where the student's at. Like, if the student's having a bad day and they're not feeling this piece, I'm just going to jam with them. Sometimes I just teach them a scale, and I'll play some chords and just teach them how, if you know this scale, you can solo on this all over the place, and they'll just have fun with it, you know?
So I think my friends have a school. It's called the Submarine School for Music, and they try to like match for underprivileged kids to have them do it. And I could bet, like, during the day, but a lot of those kids are like, that's the highlight of their day. Mm-hmm. And I think it's got to be positive, too.
Yeah,
I think a lot of things have to be positive, even like them. And I do like, I was having a talk with a couple of my musician friends. I like more depressing songs. They're more real, but that doesn't mean you have to be miserable. It's like they're fun. They're more like life. Mm-hmm. Like, who wants, oh, hi, I'm John Denver. I'm all happy and everything. You know, I want a little, you know, it's raining today.
Yeah. I think I'm a little bit more stricter with my vocal students. Not stricter in a way that it's not fun, but I don't let them go. Like, if they're off pitch on something or they're not, you know, using diction or whatever, you know, I'll make them go over the line over and over again, because, like, once they get it. And then the other thing with singing is, like, it's like method acting. You have to get into the feeling of the song. You could sing it perfectly, technically, be in pitch and everything, and people might be like, hey, that person sings pretty well, but they're not going to be enamored or taken away by you with the song if you don't get into the feeling of.
I have said this time and time again. What I've always said was, like, something like American Idol. You can get somebody on there; they have technically a brilliant voice, but you could have, like, and I always made, like, I wanted to do a skit where, like, Tom Waits goes on it, or Bob Dylan, or Ray Davies. And they're not technically great singers, but you need to have the feel of the song.
Yeah.
Anybody could have a great voice, sing some song, and it will have no meaning for you.
Yeah.
But like Ray, you know, Kink's one of my top bands. He tells stories, and you could feel the stories, and it's so English.
Yeah, it's powerful.
And it's in there, and you wouldn't say he's got a great voice.
Mm-hmm. Well, it's like Bob Dylan, too. You know? I mean, everybody loves Bob Dylan. He doesn't have the best voice.
And I'm like, the last time I saw him was at the Auditorium Theater, and I really don't want to see him again, because he was great. And I've seen him when he's been not so great, and I've seen him walk off the stage because he was pissed at the sound after 8 songs.
Really? I didn't experience
Bob Dylan walk off stage? No.
You might see him. That's the thing. You're taking a gamble with him. He can be really good, or he can just have one of those nights where it's unlistenable. Mm-hmm. And don't expect him to say anything to you either, because he just does not even talk to the audience.
Yeah, that's true.
And jump and knock somebody down if they have a camera, because he will just walk off if they see some photograph.
Bob Dylan was the first person I saw in concert at the George Eastman Theater. Yeah, I remember that. That was really cool. And he was on a good night. It was amazing.
Yeah, his bands are usually really good, but like Ian McLaughlin, God rest his soul, everything, he played with him once, and they told him, okay, don't get all weird on stage if you notice Bob's staring at you. And he's like, what the heck? Like, I guess he's really nearsighted and he can't really see, so it's like looking at you. But it's like, Greg, if you were playing or whatever, and you're like, this like staring at, what am I doing wrong?
I know. People will do that. They'll turn around and just look at me, and I'm like, what? What did I do?
Nate does that to me all the time.
Well, he was doing that to me.
Looks, and I'll be like, what? Is this a good look or a bad look?
Maybe he just needs cheaters.
He was doing that last night. We were playing together last night. He was shredding really good. I think he was trying to, like, just let me know, like, yeah, you know, this is like, he was relating to me that I know that what he's playing is really cool.
Yeah.
So, like, and so we were getting into it. I think that's, but it's, he does. He likes to share what's going on. Mm-hmm. But at first you're like,
expressive.
What? Should I go faster? Slower?
Yeah, I know.
That would happen. Like, there was some musician came in the Blue Room one time, and he's playing songs, and it weirded me out. He's like, what do you want to hear? I go, you know some Neil Young? He plays, but he stared at me the whole time. And he had, like, this smile on it. Like, okay.
This is too intimate.
Yeah. It just was weird. It's like, it's suddenly because somebody stares. It's like if you're staring at your dog or something, it'll blink. You don't want to do it. Yeah. But that's another thing I'd say about, it's like jazz especially. I think jazz musicians, they can come in, never even played before with people. They know how to improvise. Mm-hmm. I think the biggest thing for any bands, any duels, anything else is chemistry.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm sure you have like people who are like top-notch players when they try to get together with some different people. They can't do it because there's nothing there. That's why I think a lot of super groups aren't so super, because they think they're all.
Right.
You know, some are good, but a lot of them, they just don't have the chemistry. And you need the chemistry. And then you need a playoff, but you probably know. Like, and you're probably like with Nate then too. Oh, don't worry about the way he looks at you. It's okay.
Yeah.
Or you don't tell people. You go, oh, wait till he does this. This is gonna be good.
Look at the Traveling Wilburys, though. That was like the perfect.
That was. It was a fluke. It was basically a fluke. I guess Tom Petty or somebody. George Harrison was behind him, flagged him down, said they needed his like, okay, can we come over to your house and record? And they all started goofing around.
Yeah.
And I think that's why it worked though, because they didn't have any pretensions about it. Not like damn Yankees or something like that.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's great.
Although I like damn Yankees.
It's okay. See, that's another thing we do. We don't like whatever you like. You like.
Yeah. Well, I love it when you get lost in the music with people. Like last night when we were playing at Murph's for the St. Patrick's celebration there, with the good vibes. I was on bass, Julius Ferrante on the drums, Rob Huff percussion, and Nate, the lead singer and guitarist.
Yeah.
Anyways, so yeah, we were having.
You
such
blew
a
up our
blast.
drummer.
Oh, I really.
Don't worry, they come back. We're having to put back together.
We gotta call the next emergency drummer. Oh wait, no, he got called away. He's the emergency. drummer.
He's the on-call drummer
That's
today.
right.
He's also has an Indonesian hitman after him for something he did to a diplomat.
Yeah.
It's a long story from another show.
That'll be a whole other show. Anyway, so yeah, we had a great time last night. But it's funny when I'm playing my harp, or we're in our other conglomerate of the world music, where I'm either playing guitar, harp, whatever, singing. I don't. Nate doesn't give me any weird looks. Like he gives me like this look. Like I'm trying to think of the word. It's like the stink eye. That's the stink eye look. So he'll turn around and give me this look, and I'm like, what? And it's because when I'm playing the bass, he's like really so good. He's like the best bass player probably in the world, one of the top bass players. So he's very particular. When I'm playing the bass, he expects me to be like on my game and playing perfectly. But also, I've been playing his Fender bass, jazz bass, like 72, whatever. And so it's his baby. So I think, he worries about it a lot. So I never get the stink eye from him when I'm playing my other instruments. So I finally bought my first bass. I'll be coming in a few days, so I don't have to worry about that anymore. But yeah, most of the time we're having a great time.
That's the other thing I like.
It's funny with the
I like
bass.
visiting a lot of time. Well, I used to road trip within maybe 4 miles, to see friends play. And the reaction I love, and you'll love, I'm sure you like it too. Probably a lot of people that people who come to your shows.
Yeah.
When you go to places where a lot of people haven't heard you before, but they're amazed, they're awed, or they come and say, I really dug this.
Yeah.
And I love that.
Yeah, that is really sweet. It's really awesome.
It's like one of my friends was playing at Daily Refresher actually, and I remember there's some people on there. They okay, what's your page and everything? Haha, I know.
Well, it's the best when you can make a connection with your audience and everybody's dancing and you just.
Well, I don't do that. I have to have the evil writer looking miserable, look in the corner, but I am enjoying myself. It's like, the observer. It's like.
Well, a lot of things you do are you don't see the audience, so you.
Well,
don't
then
know,
I do too. I go.
But people are connecting.
You think you're good, but I've seen it all.
People are connecting with you through the ether, so you.
I
just
saw
don't
the
know.
stars on Orion.
Well, yeah, because he's a writer too.
Yeah,
so,
yeah.
Yeah.
Right. So
I do the Blade Runner speech. I just do I've seen the tears of Orion. You don't impress me. You're really good, but I'm not going to dance.
So have you written books?
I've written various things.
Yeah. I'll have to read what you've written. What's various things? Do you write for
listen to this.
or...
Listen to this. I freelance and stuff. And I've actually been involved in a little bit in sort of dabbled in movie production.
Really cool.
Yeah. Well, we've done my friend Beth. We did a couple films Getting Personal and all. What's neat too, I saw the movie Drunk Bus, a Tangent.
Yeah.
It was filmed in Rochester, and I was looking at it halfway through, going, wait a second, these are a bunch of drunk guys. That's Rochester. They're drinking and it's cold. It's Rochester. But stuff like that, just dabbling around.
That's
and
fun.
everything. Well, it's creative stuff. I think I always say don't live your job, pays the rent and everything. Do something you're not waking up dreading the day.
Yeah.
And then use it for other creative things.
Yeah.
So I've always done multitask.
Advice.
I've always done multitask things and everything else. And everything else. So and I think that's what makes life. I'm into comic books and all that stuff, and I do this thing which is which is turned into something people seem to like.
Yeah, you've
So
got
you
stalker
write...
fans now too. So
Yeah.
that's how you know you've made it when
That's
you get
so
stalker
cool.
fans. Yeah.
thanks. I'm going to give him your number. I'll tell you that off the air.
Well, my son's big into creating comics, and he is a graphic artist.
He wants to come down here anytime.
So he'd probably be excited to know about what you do.
Yeah, we do. We only have my friend Caitlin's a comic artist, and we have her.
From New York City?
Caitlin Yarsky.
Yeah, I know her.
Oh, yeah, she was just on.
Violin and
she
stuff,
played
right?
for Old Lang Syne. She did a little bit with Jackson Cavalier.
Yeah, I met her, and Jamie is.
She was our first guest on here. She's a regular, but I can't afford the plane ticket from Oregon.
Oh, she's in Oregon now?
She was
in New York City. She was
when she explained to me, she's from Long Island.
Yeah.
And I was telling her, we miss you here, Caitlin. We miss you, Kat. Come back.
She's very talented.
And she said, well, you have to understand. I mean, you lived in Alexandria. I've lived in Alexandria. I've lived away. But I'm from here. She's from Long Island, so it's a little different. Where she lived in Maryland, and now she lives in Portland, Oregon, not the other one. And like for her, it's really good because there's like that Dark Horse Comics is like an enclave there. And I love following her career. Her stuff is incredible. And we used to do Zoom with her like a couple weeks ago.
Oh, that's sweet.
We do those. You ever want to do those on us? Tell her stuff. Actually, you could talk violin and harp. Well, my harp has more strings than the violin or whatever.
Yeah.
But yeah, she played for Old Lang Syne. Very talented all the way around, like all the different stuff. Plus, we brought her in for our Beatles show because she knew.
Oh, yeah? That's cool. Yeah, I only knew that she played the violin. So.
Yeah. See, the little you know, we're all like multiverse and everything. But it's been really cool. When are you playing now? That's what we're here for. What are you and Nate playing? You playing? Everything else? Do you have any dates you remember?
Oh, yeah, right. Well, let's see. We're in March. Well, the next couple that are coming up that I can think of is we're playing in Hammondsport with Tommy Gravino in April at the boat museum there. And
that's a weird drive, like by Weedsport, Hammondsport.
Yeah.
I got the point where like the GPS says no road.
Well, monthly we play over at Merce with the Good Vibes. We have a monthly gig, and then every Wednesday you can find us there for the open mic that we run. And the World Music Quartet's performing May 21st, and we're playing in Pennsylvania and stuff. So we're all over the place, but. I could give you a link to attach to.
We'll be very glad to.
Look at the
we'll talk about all that,
cool.
and if we could find you. Like, do you have a Facebook page or anything? I actually don't know if you do. If I do, I probably like it. At this point, I don't even know.
Yeah, we have several. There's the Nate and Mary. Just remember Nate and Mary. That's probably the easiest thing. But
for me, I'll get a hold of you. I'll get a hold of you in like an hour saying what.
Or Mary Monroe Productions. Any of those, yeah.
Yeah, but that's the one thing I think I like now. I mean, there's always sometimes it's too hard to, back in the day, you'd go. Number one, when you were in high school, you had like a certain music. You were like the metal guy, the goth guy, or you were like an outcast. Now you can like anything. Nobody judges, thankfully.
Yeah,
but the other thing is, before, what would you do? Like, you make a mixtape for your friends, and you go, let's try to see if we can find it. You go look around. You go around. A friend would find an album. Okay, cool. You share it all around. Now, it's like, just pop online. And I miss the search, but it's really cool. You could find pretty much anything.
Yeah.
Which is really awesome these days, and I think that's awesome. And also, like, for recording stuff, sometimes you have to dig through because there's just so much. But you can get your stuff out there, and the quality of the sound's really good.
Yeah, it's great.
So interesting times and everything.
Yeah.
But I suppose this was a good St. Patrick's Day. It's very glad to have you on.
Yeah,
very thrilled.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
We'll repair him.
Yeah. It's too bad he got called away on a drumming emergency.
I know. Well,
but now we're very thrilled again. I think Paul's going to accompany you just by watching. And I'm going to do the same thing. I hope I don't cough or anything. But you were going to play a song on your, what do you prefer to call the harp? The tiny harp? The mini harp? You should call me mini harp.
My baby blue.
I'll put it in the title. That's why.
But no, it's a Celtic 26 lily harp. Yes.
Okay, that's Greek to me, but anybody who knows, I'm glad you said it.
Love her.
And you know what are you going to play? You can play whatever you want.
Right. I think I'm going to do the first song I ever wrote on the harp, Believe in Magic.
Oh, cool. Excellent. We're very thrilled.
If you want more, I'll do that. But
well, it's up to you. We'll talk. One. You can just pick it. Well, we could have saved the show, and you could have just performed the whole show and saved a lot of misery from people listening to us guys.
Oh, and then I did give you the Nate and Mary's World Music Quartet album. So.
Well, there's only
Or I think I gave it to Andy. Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Whatever. Thanks a lot. Well, we're going to have Mary Monroe play her songs for you. That songs. We don't know. Sometimes the editing goes bad and there's like one, so I don't want to promise it happened before. Yeah. So thanks a lot, Mary. And we'll
thank you.
Let you end the show on a really high note. Thanks, Paul. Greg, when you get back from your emergency. Thanks.
Thanks, Greg. Why don't we follow our hearts? What's right for you may not be right for someone else. Blocked by so many others, trapped inside. Close your eyes, believe in magic. You are who you are. Don't fear yourself. Close your eyes, believe in magic. You are who you are. Don't fear yourself. Know yourself and live. Know yourself and live. Know yourself and live. Know yourself.